Recorded Books presents Carl Weber's 5 Families of New York, Part 1, Brooklyn, by C.N. Phillips. Narrated by Bernard K. Addison. Chapter 1. The forceful sound of a set of tall double doors opening and hitting the wall stoppers made everyone inside of a large high-rise office look up. If they had been in the middle of conversation, they were quiet as church mice when they saw the fiery eyes of the man who'd just burst in. Caesar King stood in the doorway, surveying his 3 peers sitting at the circular table before him. Diana, Marco, and Lee all had the same question written across their faces. Leave. Caesar motioned for their entourages to wait outside the door with his own hired hands. And close the door behind you. They obliged him, and within seconds they were out of the room. As soon as they were all gone, Diana, a woman in her 60s who had aged like fine wine, leaned forward in her seat. She watched Caesar like a hawk with her light brown eyes as she awaited his next words. But she knew what those words would be. They all did. News traveled fast through the underworld grapevine. That much Caesar was certain of. I called you all here tonight because I want you to hear from me that is true. Caesar's deep baritone voice vibrated off the walls. Barry is dead. His boy still needs to identify his body, but it's him. His people phoned me when his body was found earlier in one of the drop spots they rarely use. Shit, Marco said, shaking his head. How did this happen? Lee asked in his usual fast rate of speech. No one has dared to step out of line since the pact was put into place. I don't know how, but I can tell you that it wasn't quick. These were sent to me from an unknown number. Caesar pulled his phone out and passed it around the table. Whoever did this made sure Barry suffered. He was tortured terribly, and they sent those to me as a warning. Are his toes missing? Diana asked, aghast. Yes, they are, Caesar confirmed, along with his ears and his tongue. Who would do such a thing? Lee asked. No, the real question is, how did they get close to him in the first place? Marco chimed in. It had to have been an inside job. I don't know. Caesar gritted his teeth as he took his phone back. But it's something that we all need to look into. It wasn't anybody in my camp. Diana's smooth, soft voice spoke up. They know the consequences of breaking the pact. As do those in my camp, Lee said. The Chinese know honor. There is no honor in this. Everyone turned to Marco, who seemed to be lost in thought. When he noticed all the attention he was getting, he hurried to sit up straight. You motherfuckers would be foolish to believe that anybody under me would be dumb enough to harm any leader of the 5 families. Weren't you the last to see Barry out of all of us? Diana asked suspiciously. See, he came to see me. But that don't mean me or any of my people killed him, Diana. Why was he in Queens? Caesar asked Marco. Guns. We were conducting business. I was telling him about a new shipment of military-grade weapons that just arrived, and I wanted to see if he needed a few for his men. He was supposed to come back with payment to receive them, but he never showed up. It was unlike him to do, but I figured something must have come up. Diana, why do you think Marco was the last to see Barry? Caesar turned to her. He came to the club, Diana answered, making reference to her gentleman's club. You know Barry was always too bourgeois for the pussy I have walking the streets, and was never too proud to walk through the doors of the sugar trap. After he relieved himself with his favorite girls, we talked for a second. He didn't hit me until now.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?